Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots. I'm drinking some Hulk Hogan American beer, and it's
Wow.
appropriate. Yeah, it's good stuff. It tastes like PBR. It's not bad. And it's appropriate to have that tonight because we're talking about Uncensored 96. And I just have to say that I think this show is the absolute lowest point of the career of Hulk Hogan. I'm including the booing on Raw a few weeks ago.
Ah.
No, for real, bro. I kind of think that when Bischoff meets with Hogan over the summer, and he goes, Bischoff, I'm not going to turn heel, and I'm going to use my creative control to pin Nash in the middle of the ring this winter. I think if I was Bischoff, I'd be like, okay, I'm buying out your contract. Like, how do we buy out your contract and get rid of you? Because I think if Hogan doesn't turn heel, I think WWF wins the war in January '97.
Yeah, I mean, if it was Uncensored was essentially the main event, which is, for the most part of it, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen, but not the whole show, which we'll get into.
No, really quick before we continue, the first two matches are kind of what WCW is going to become. The rest of the show is what WCW need to run the fuck away from. So
Yeah, you were warning me that this show is not a good pay-per-view, and overall, and
yeah.
you're right. It's definitely one of those weird ones. Let's get into it. Uncensored 1996. Everything you've wanted to see, plus the stuff you haven't thought of yet. That's their tagline. Boy, were they fucking right. Things I've never thought of would happen. Takes
Dude, the
place
opening
March.
video package, Kevin
Mhm.
Sullivan makes this noise like into like a part of like this laugh, and I'm like, bro, why? Why do you think why is this guy on my TV? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
it takes place March 24th, 1996, in Tupelo, Mississippi. So I'm assuming maybe in Mississippi that stuff is cool. I'm not sure. 9,000 people were there live to witness
They
this.
still listen, they still outdrove Tony Khan.
Yeah, 9,000 people. I can't believe they had 9,000 people there. 250,000 pay-per-view buys, which is a lot.
I think
It's
it's because they want to see what the triple cage could be. I think people were like,
I think you're
what is
right.
going on with
That
that?
that was the drawing card.
Mhm.
That was the major draw. That the triple cage. Let me give you a comparison, guys. Super Brawl. What do you call it? Uncensored outdrew Super Brawl and Slamboree.
Yeah.
Right, the pay per view before and after. This is the top. This one outdraws all of them. It's
So you know
250.
what? Maybe I'm wrong. This is the lowest point of Hulk Hogan because he's drawing pretty good.
Well,
But
what happens is right after this, the pay per view draws 100,000 less. Right
well, he's
after
not
this.
on the next one.
Oh, maybe that's what. I mean, Hogan still kind of draws, I guess. But you're right. You're
I
right.
really do think though that people thought like something crazy was going to happen in this cage. Like that's why I
Yeah.
think.
The triple cage, when you just hear it first, it does sound cool because you're trying to figure out how does that even work? How does a triple cage even work, right?
And you're probably like,
Um,
how bad could it be? And it's really bad.
yeah. So, like you said, intro opening package shows the alliance to end Hulkamania is doing little blurbs. They're threatening Hulk Hogan, and it's cool except for Kevin Sullivan, right? Like everything
But
else
also,
about it's
it's
kind of
like
cool.
this doesn't do anyone any favors because it's like Luger should be enough to just stop Hogan by himself. If we're gonna
Yeah,
make this,
true.
Luger doesn't. If Luger had 8 guys help, then Hogan should be in the hospital like within like a few minutes. It just
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just like it's a one man power trip, really.
it really is.
We got Tony Schiavone, we got the American Dream, and we got Bobby the Brain Heenan on commentary. This is I don't know if people talk about this often, but this is a really good commentating team in my opinion. I think it's one of the best. They're just fun to listen to for me. And we're gonna go to our first match. Our opening match is for a U.S. title. It is Eddie Guerrero, a very young Eddie Guerrero, facing the U.S. champion Conan. Eddie Guerrero, he outpaces Conan at the beginning of this match, and they start going back and forth, and then eventually they face off, and the crowd loves it, them facing off, because they're in the beginning of this match, they're both good guys, and they're just kind of facing off. People start chanting for Eddie, then they start chanting for Conan, And then they start wrestling for more. And while I was wrestling, I noticed that Conan is just way bigger than Eddie. And they did a lot of close up shots of Conan, and you could see so much back knee on Conan. You know what
Which
that's a
is
sign
surprising because he doesn't look like he's in shape.
in this match?
I mean, he does. He's not like a Hulk Hogan, Lex Luger type.
No, but he's big. He's huge in
He
this
is,
match.
but like
He's so much
it's
bigger than Eddie.
it's normal guy big. Like if you didn't see the back knee, if you just told me like Conan eats right and works out, I'd be like that makes sense because he doesn't look. I don't know. He still kind of looks like maybe it's just the way he looks. He still looks like a
Maybe
regular.
well, because Conan, I think, kind of he's short, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's why. But yeah, he's got a. You know what? Maybe he's just like got really bad skin. Who knows?
No,
But
he definitely
a
is.
lot. He has a
They're all
lot of back knee in this match. A lot.
yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Conan, he does get gassed very early in this match. He's tired. He's like sucking wind. He's sucking
You know
air.
why he tries to do the lucha with Eddie and can't keep up.
Yeah, it's because I mean he got popular doing lucha libre,
Mm-hmm.
in both CMLL and AAA, but he's not good at lucha style, and he's tired by the end of this. But he does shove Eddie Guerrero off the top rope to the floor, and then he tries to do a dive onto Eddie on the floor, and he fucking falls short, and he like barely touches Eddie. He almost killed himself with that stupid dive because there's not enough power. He doesn't have enough momentum. Eddie Guerrero hits a superplex that Conan actually almost messes up because when they're up on the top rope, Conan steps on Eddie's foot before Eddie suplexes him. They run the ropes, and then Eddie does this thing where he goes dick first into Conan's face,
Mm-hmm.
like almost like a Lutez press, but it backfires and it hurts Eddie. Like they call it a low blow, and then Conan wins. Conan afterwards tries to raise Eddie's hand because remember they're both good guys, but Eddie's like he doesn't want to have it. He's like, "Hey, you low blowed me. Your face hit my balls." I know you. I think you might like this match, but I did not like this match. This is a C plus. It's like an average match. It's not that good.
I went in expecting. I forgot this match was even on the show. I went in expecting every single match to be dog shit, and this was okay. So I liked it. I like the work that Eddie's putting in here. Conan can't
He
match
can't keep
Eddie,
up. I like Conan, but he can't keep up.
but you know what? I give him props for trying.
Okay, that's fair. After this, we go to the back and we got the Giant. He's in front of a computer and he's chatting with the fans in the CompuServe room. I fucking love that. He's like, I'm the Giant and I'm fucking growling, but I'm gonna chat with some fans. Mean Gene
I wish
Oakland, he is.
I wish we could get like those chat logs.
Yeah.
I wish
Mean
we
Gene,
could.
he's in the back. He's in the back with Ray Gootz's favorite manager, uh, Colonel Parker, who's with Dick
I do
Slater.
declare.
No more, no more. What was his fucking name? I already forgot his name.
Bunkhouse Buck.
Yeah, no more Bunkhouse Buck. I don't know where he is, but it's just Colonel Rob Parker and Dick Slater. There's no more Bunkhouse Buck, and
The
they're
stench of
talking.
failures all over these two guys.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird without Bunkhouse. I kind of was like, I need him in
You
this
know what?
group.
Jeff Jarrett on Wednesday should have Colonel Parker come out as his manager.
You know who reminds? Is Colonel Parker still alive?
Yeah, he's very old. He's still alive.
You know what? He should. He should. I think that would be. I would get a kick out of that. I 100% would get a kick out of that.
But the whole suit, the whole act. I do declare.
He's sweating. He's wiping his
Oh,
sweat.
it's so hot in this arena. Double J winning for the Colonel. Double J. Yeah. I do declare.
They're talking to Mean Gene not because Dick Slater has a match, or because Colonel Rob Parker has a match. He's got a match with Medusa. He's gonna be fighting Medusa. And he goes, "This is for all the men. All the men. I'm doing this for all the men." And Dick Slater tries to do his promo, but he stutters kind of through his words. So that's going to come up later. But before that, we got to go to our second match. William Regal, who comes out with Jeeves, or Chives, as Dusty calls him, versus the Belfast Bruiser, Fit Finlay. He's not going to be called Fit Finlay here. It's just the Belfast Bruiser. I had to look up Jeeves, and his real name is Gary Hedrick, and he actually used to play the WCW mascot Wildcat Willie. Do you
Yes,
remember
we
this
talked about this.
mascot?
Yeah.
We did talk about this. Oh, I totally forgot about this. Ah, yeah, we did. We did talk about this mascot. That's right. So, anyways, Fit comes down with his mullet. Fit Finlay with a mullet, and he tries to hit Jeeves on his way, and he gets in there and he whacks Regal right away with his leather jacket, and he start the match. Both these guys are just hitting each other hard, and the fight goes outside, and Regal just taking a beating. They really like Conan because they show, hey, look, during this match, they go, hey, Conan's sitting with the Spanish announce team. Look at him. He's doing everything. I'm like, well, they really, really like Conan. Um, I think they felt like Conan was like, he was going to be the star of their Lucha Libre division or something like that.
I think they thought because he's so big in Mexico. I don't understand how that guy was big in Mexico. Did they shoot every other actor on the show? Remember, he was on a soap opera and he was like a heartthrob. He's an ugly motherfucking.
Yeah,
He's
I
ugly.
think I think he was maybe. I don't know why he was so popular in Mexico. That's a good question. I would like to figure out why he was, because it wasn't like he was the best wrestler.
And women like went nuts for him. Like women want like that was like a legit thing. Like women treat him like Elvis. I don't understand it.
Do
I
you
don't get it.
think it's because he wasn't Mexican?
That could be it. But
Yeah,
he does have
Cuban.
like this Mexican swag. That could be it. He had
Yeah,
like this um I don't know. I don't know, bro.
yeah. Listen,
I
we're
would
not
love.
denying he was popular. We're just confused as to why he was so popular. Because and by the way, I'm not trying to shit on Conan like oh he sucks. He's not. It's not that, but there's so many other luchadors who are better than him. I'm sure he will admit it too. But like, why the fuck was he the most popular? I guess it's like Hulk Hogan. It's just like he has it. Like
He
Hulk
doesn't
Hogan was
have
the
it though.
best
But
wrestler.
he doesn't have it though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he doesn't have it here. He
He
definitely
doesn't have
doesn't
it.
have it here. Yeah, he doesn't have it here. It's very weird.
Like if you told me like Lex Luger or Macho Man Randy Savage was like the biggest heartthrob in Mexico, I could buy that. Or even Ultimate Warrior. If you tell me Jericho was a heartthrob in Mexico, by the way,
He
I could
was.
buy
He
that.
was. Yeah.
But I don't understand the Conan thing. Even if you told me Juventud Guerrera, like women were like passed out at his feet, I could buy it. But this guy,
You know what's so funny about Jericho is like he's a Canadian guy who like really honed his craft at his talent in Mexico, and he comes over to America and he's so involved in our politics and he hates like the Mexicans basically. Isn't that weird?
Jericho is a fucking piece of shit. Jericho has become a piece of shit loser. I, uh, fuck him, dude. I can't
What's with
even.
all these foreigners who are so like obsessed with our politics? Like
Because
you're not from this country. Get the fuck out. Like get Elon Musk. Get the fuck out. Fucking Jericho. Get the fuck out. But whatever.
whatever.
Not this match. This match, you guys need to stay the fuck in because this match is fucking bananas. It's good.
Best
Um,
match of the show.
yeah, best match of the
This
show.
is
These
actually
guys are
a legendary match amongst the sickos.
yeah. So these guys are hitting hard. There's a point where Fit Philly he kicks what do you call it? Fit gets kicked in the stomach by Regal really hard, and Dusty's like, "Oh, you got kicked in the belly willy." Right? The commentators love this match. Dusty and Bobby the Brain Heenan, they start arguing about Ireland and England for some reason. Like they don't. It's really fun because obviously because Regal and Fit they represent England and Ireland, and basically Dusty he loses the argument, but instead of admitting that he's wrong, he starts going like, "Check out that wrist lock. Check out that nose lock." He starts changing the topic. Anyway, eventually Regal he distracts the referee and then actually does a real hard low blow on Fit Finlay. He smiles about it, and Tony Schiavone he calls it. He got hit in the gluteus maximus, and Bobby the Brain points out though that's actually the butt. But I don't know why he's a gluteus maximus. We're getting for a low blow, but Dusty runs with this, and he has a lot of fun with it, calling it the luduma maxima. It's gonna be a joke for the rest of this match. Uh, Dusty points out something very important about this match. He says there is no finesse to this match. It is just ugly fighting. And you know what? That's the truth, but that's why it's so good. You know what it's like? it's like, Gunther. Gunther does ugly fighting. He does. If you ever see Gunther, like when he wrestles, like when he jumps off the top rope and he does a splash, his
Mhm.
splash looks ugly, but it looks like realistic. Like if you were in a real fight and you just gonna fucking splash someone, that's how it would look. And the way William Regal and Fit Finlay are fighting here, it's it's not pretty, but it looks legit. Like it looks like they really don't fucking like each other.
You know what I you know what I like about WCW, and I don't really see this happening in most companies.
What?
They allow you to change up your style on the fly if it's better for the match and it's better for the story. Like William
Yeah,
Regal does not wrestle like this before or really so much after in WCW. He does more his William Regal stuff. Here, he's allowed to be like a fucking bruiser. He's
yeah,
allowed
because yo, go ahead. I'm sorry.
he's
Go ahead.
allowed to play to the strengths of Fit Finley, and Fit Finley is allowed to play to his strengths, and it makes for such a better match.
Yeah,
And
because so
WCW is one of the
far,
only companies that
mhm.
allows all these styles to change because WWF has a style, even like AEW has a style, and here it's just like we're gonna allow you to. We're gonna have lucha libre. We're gonna have hard hitting British wrestling. We're gonna have Hulk Hogan's goofy theatrics, but it's all gonna come together in a great show.
Yeah, and the point that I agree with you. What you're saying is that this isn't even William Regal's style because every other match we've seen of William Regal in on
Mm-hmm.
a pay per view before this is like a lot of technical, a lot of mat based and stuff. This is I don't think you're not really seeing any wrestling moves. This is just a lot of punching and kicking, and
Yeah.
they do a close up of Fit Finley punching Regal right in the face, and while they're on the mat
Mm-hmm.
like the camera's close up, and then while the camera's close up, Fit just punches Regal in the face, and that pops the whole commentary team. They all go like, "Oh my god, did you see that?" Like this is you could tell that like Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Dusty Rhodes, who've all seen so much wrestling, right? Day in
Mm-hmm.
day out, they're enjoying this match like themselves. That's how good this is. So they fight to the outside, and Fit Finley, he punches Regal again really hard, but it's right above the right eye, and he busts him open. He's just gushing blood from his right eye. Regal starts bringing the fight, though. He doesn't back down, and they start running down the walkway, and he rams. There's a cage set up by the entranceway for the triple cage match, and he rams Fit Finley into the cage. Then they start fighting back to the ring, but then the rest of the Blue Bloods, which is Bobby Eaton and Squire Dave Taylor, they come down and they start beating on Fit Finley. So the ref has to call a DQ, and the Regal slaps Fit really hard in the face for one last good measure, and Fit Finley chases them all back to the locker room. I actually gave this a B. This is a B for me.
This
It's not
this
an A,
is really
but it's
good.
really good.
I'm going to say it again, best match on the show by far. The only thing worth seeing on this show. Everything else is an embarrassment to humanity.
I think the reason why I didn't give this match an A is because the bullshit ending, right?
Well, I
It
heard
is
there's a great match on Nitro where they pile drive one another in a car. So they're
wow.
building.
Okay, I would love
I
to see.
think
Yeah,
I think in this era they were using the pay-per-views to build to Nitros because they were all about crushing WWF with Nitro.
yeah,
So
yeah. And they mentioned Nitro at the end, like there. It's a hype for the TV show, 100%. Yes.
yeah, so I don't think they were blowing off, they paid with this strategy eventually. I don't think
Yeah,
they were using the pay-per-views to blow off things. They should have, but they didn't. But hey,
yeah,
listen, whom what am I to say? It worked in '96. So
yeah. All right, so that's that match. Afterwards, that after that amazing match, we got Mean Gene in the back. He's with the Giant and Jimmy Hart, and they cut a promo on Loch Ness, another Englishman. And he say, "Oh, Loch
Giants
Ness."
getting better at promos really fast. I would have to say
What?
Giant is getting better at promos really fast.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't think he was even that bad to begin with. Cause he gave a typical like a giant monster promo. And I was like, yeah, if you're looking for a giant monster promo, like that's how it would sound. I
But
thought he
bro,
was
this guy wasn't even a wrestler a year ago. Is what I'm saying.
yeah, I know. I think
Yeah.
I don't think he's definitely like a fast learner, 100%, you know?
I mean,
Um,
like, dude, you know what? We got to give this fucking guy credit. He didn't really go to wrestling school. He didn't wrestle on the indies. He was shoved in front of Hulk Hogan, and now it's 4 months later. and he's gonna go on pay-per-view with this goofy English guy, and then the next night he has to wrestle Ric Flair. This guy's not even wrestling 6 months. That's crazy to constantly be thrown these things.
Yeah. But I mean, and but granted, I think the difference with that and now would be
They would
wrestling
never
was
throw anyone in this deep this fast.
yeah, and wrestling back then wasn't as athletic as it is now. Like right now, wrestling is really more athletic, and I think that's what hurts. Back then, you
But
could just do a
also,
lot of punches and kicks and stuff like that, and get
I
away
do
with it.
think a lot of guys. I do think, like I've seen the Ric Flair match. Ric Flair gives a lot to Giant. A lot of these guys that he's facing are doing their best to make him look good,
Yeah,
and I think a lot of guys now don't really know how to do that.
yeah, I think that's so true too. Yeah. So they're cutting a promo on Loch Ness because Loch Ness put his hands on Jimmy Hart, and they were like, "You shouldn't have done that." And Giant says, "I'm gonna beat you, Loch Ness, and after I beat you, because the winner of that match, Loch Ness versus Giant, gets a title shot against Ric Flair at Nitros." And he goes, "After you, I'm gonna take Flair's belt." So after that, Tony Schiavone tells us that Medusa, uh, she is next. Her match is coming up next, and they said, when she came to WCW, she threw the WF title into our trash can. He does mention that, and yeah, amazing. She comes here, dumps the title, and she gets to be in a wrestling match with Colonel Rob Parker. Fantastic, really going places. Um, they get Mean Gene after that. He is now with Loch Ness, who's mad at Jimmy Hart for pulling him out of the Doomsday match. He goes, Jimmy Hart, I only came here because you told me I could get my hands on Hulk Hogan and I get to end Hulkamania, but you pulled me out of the Doomsday match. That's why I'm mad at you, and that's why I put my hands on you. And then Mean Gene Okerlund makes a reference to a dentist because Loch Ness has horrible teeth, and Loch Ness just stares at him like he wants to kill him.
Ali Loch Ness was a well-known wrestler in Britain.
Yes, and I'm gonna get into that during that match. But
He's
before we
another
do
guy.
that,
When he started talking, I'm like, this is going to be horrible. And then he cut a pretty good promo. And I'm like, if they just adjusted this guy's character, he probably could have been on the show longer because he wasn't that bad of a promo either.
mm-hmm. There's actually a different reason why he's not going to be on the show a little much. I mean, but might be in WCW much longer. But I'll explain that after this fantastic match that we have coming up next: Colonel Rob Parker versus Medusa. So
Can I just
that's right.
can I tell you something about this match?
Yeah, of course.
Really quick. This is the match that convinced me Medusa is not good at anything. This is
Yeah.
the match that she did what she did because she knew she couldn't compete with Sable. I mean, I'm sorry, not Sable. She wasn't there yet. Sunny. Um, I'm utterly convinced that people, you want to people want to rewrite history and not face the facts because Sunny is a murderer, which is fine. But the fact
Well,
remains is that Medusa is not good at anything.
I didn't think Medusa. The first time I realized Medusa wasn't as good as people thought she was in that
Yeah.
tag team match they had with the Joshis, and the Joshis all like out fucking worked her. And I was like,
Mhm.
damn, Medusa's like the worst one in this match,
Mhm.
That's when I saw it. But anyways, yeah, she's not good. They lock up. Remember, this is an intergender match. You don't see a lot of these matches in 1996. They lock up. Um, and when they lock up, that pops the commentary team. They're like, "Oh my god, they're locking up!" They're like so excited about it. Colonel Rob Parker, he picks her up and the airplane spins her, but then he gets body slammed. He tries to leave the match and he tries to go run away, but Dick Slater comes out and he persuades him, "No, Colonel, get back in there. Get back in there and fight this woman." So Colonel Rob Parker returns and then he choke slams her, but then he ends up eating two missile drop kicks from her. Then she German suplexes him and she
That
does a
was impressive.
bridge. What?
That was kind of impressive.
Yeah. And she has a bridge, but then Dick Slater pulls her leg. So then Colonel Rob Parker so she loses the bridge, and then Colonel Rob Parker rolls on top of her, and he wins the match. This was C minus for me. This was terrible. Um,
This is what makes the match bad. This is what makes the match bad. First of all, this match should have been made because Colonel Rob Parker does his goofy character. I do declare and all this stuff. He's a massive man. He is a big man. He's not a
yeah,
little guy.
he's tall.
And Medusa, it doesn't look it Nothing about this match looks good because he's so fucking huge. Honestly, the way you should have booked this match is he just annihilates Medusa. Like, that would have been a better way to book the match because it looks ridiculous for this big mountain man to be smacked around by Medusa. Now, here's the other thing. I could kind of see this match working if it was Rhea Ripley or even Tiffany Stratton or even Becky Lynch, who also would be look like a midget next to this guy. Medusa's just not good enough. The German suplex, that's impressive. I'll give her that. I think a lot of that though was Colonel Rob Parker because this guy was a world class. This guy was a worker. He was like a serious wrestler, but it just looks bad. It looks stupid. I would have had a smaller man wrestle Medusa if you really want to do a man versus woman's match. And I just want to say to Medusa, do you really think it was worth getting blackballed from WWE during your prime years for this shit? For this shit. What was Vince doing that was unless she's not revealing that something happened between her and Vince? What was going on? What were they doing on TV that was so bad that you had to dump the title in the trash? You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that was an idiotic move, and then yeah, you're right. She would be gone for a large portion of her career during her prime.
This match is not only garbage, but exposes her as someone who's not a good worker and doesn't have the charisma of Marlena or even the Booty Babe, who I also think stinks. And then Sable's gonna have more charisma than her. And I was watching this match, and I remember Sable does a few moves to Goldust at WrestleMania 14 in 2 years from now. Sable was better with the moves than she was. And everyone says Sable.
Oddly enough, this won't be the worst match on the show.
I know.
So Lee Marshall, he is now with WCW from AWA, and he is with Legion of Doom. The Road Warriors. And they cut a promo on Booker T and Sting, who they got to face tonight. And Hawk said they're going to remove their brain stems, and those two are going to have to wear their pens and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Wait, did you see Hawk was about to go where? And then Animal talked over him, and he was just like, eh. That was really funny. He just stared at the camera like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, Hawk wanted to talk first, but Animal grabbed the mic before Hawk could do it, and Hawk kind of just like stared at the camera. You could tell
Michael's this guy in 1991 and moved on. It's just Animal has no charisma, bro. Animal.
You could tell these two guys are just working together because they just have to work together because that's their act. But you could tell they don't really get along.
Dude, this is like if the Rockers are still together in 1998.
Yeah, they should have. I agree. I think
Hawk should have moved on.
They both should have. Well, they did. There was a point where they did move on. They went singles.
I know, but I think
you know what happened? You know what happened? They both realized it doesn't work. They're not good enough to be on the singles on their own. That's why they have to go back.
Heyman, I read it. There's an interview with Paul Heyman in 1992, and he goes like, "If I had someone asked him if you have no budget, if you have a limited budget, who's your top 5 wrestlers?" And he said Hawk and Sting are my 2 top guys. And he said, "But you have to book Hawk. He's unbeatable. He's like the new Undertaker. He never loses. He doesn't sell, and he's going to be the most over guy ever." And then after a while, when you get someone over enough, like either a heel or something, then you have him sell, but you don't have him sell. And I'm telling you, if you make him like the new Ultimate Warrior or Undertaker, he will be the hottest guy in the world. And I think Paul Heyman is right about that. The problem is they make Hawk sell, and that doesn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah. Also, Hawk was he had a lot of problems. I don't know if making him one of your top guys would have been ideal.
Well,
yeah. Anyways,
Shawn Michaels had a lot of problems.
That's true, and you know what though? They were in the shitter when he was.
I know. Yeah.
By the way, if you're wondering, Lee Marshall's here. That's right. The last time we saw him, he was in the AWA, and
now he's stable at WCW moving forward.
Yeah, in 1996, he signed a 3-year contract with WCW, starting in January, just like the month before this pay-per-view.
He does the Nitro Road reports. Some of the best things ever.
Yeah. This guy's gonna be pretty successful. He was he was a radio DJ. That he actually called himself King News. He did news and stuff, and he also did the Tony the Tiger voice till 2014 when he passed away. So we're gonna see for the next 3 years.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. I'm not excited about this next match though. Match number 4, the I Quit Wrestling match. Diamond Dallas Page versus the Booty Man. Now, if you're wondering who the Booty Man is, it's Brutus Beefcake, who's no longer the Zodiac. Now, if you're wondering how did he go from the Zodiac to Booty Man, Tony Schiavone recaps it for us. No, he doesn't recap it. Tony Schiavone recaps how we got into this match.
Booty Man was a spy in the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But Tony, actually, Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'll just go with it. He explains that Booty Man, when he was a Zodiac, was a spy for Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan sent him there to spy in the Dungeon of Doom, and now he's back out, but he's called the Booty Man because he's in love with his own butt. And man, that's so stupid.
How crazy is they bring this back with Billy Gunn, but it works somehow.
I know, and it's like this is such a stupid storyline that he was a spy for Hulk Hogan the whole time. Like, it's so dumb.
So was Hogan's plan like, brother, turn on me at Halloween Havoc 94 and then get involved with Kevin Sullivan, and then we'll have a match at Starrcade 94 where I bash your face in for real, brother, and then we'll have a match at Fall Brawl where I bash your head in again a few more times, brother, and then
it makes no sense.
How did this spot what like why wouldn't you just have like Bruce Beefcake attack Kevin Sullivan in like the set and like kill him, or I don't.
Yeah, this makes no sense. It's so dumb.
And it didn't really work. Dungeon of Doom has Hogan corner like Hogan has 9 guys after him later on tonight. So how did this plan work? What did the Booty Man do?
Yeah, he didn't do anything actually. Yeah. Tony Schiavone recaps how this match happened. He goes, DDP, he's been he's had issues with Johnny B. Bad, and he cost Johnny B. Bad to lose to Lex Luger. And Johnny B. Bad, after he lost his cool, and he blamed it all on Kimberly, and he decided he's gonna leave, and he's no longer here where the big boys play. So they explain that Johnny B. Bad is gone now,
and in Vince's mind, he found this new top guy.
Yeah, that's basically what's gonna happen.
Here we go.
DDP, he stalls in the beginning of this match, and then he tries to get some cheers, but he gets booed. And Booty Man, he poses for the crowd, he gets cheered. Booty Man has the edge early on, so DDP, he's on the apron, and he starts arguing with the referee, and the referee has to shove him off the apron, and he falls to the floor. And they're doing spots like this because there's no reaction from the crowd other than that cheering spot they did. They fight in the aisleway, then they fight in the ring. Then DDP falls into the crowd, and then Diamond Doll, she comes running down, and then they run the ropes, and then they botch they really noticeably fuck up a drop down spot. So they're running the ropes, and I think there was somebody was supposed to like drop down, and then somebody's supposed to like go flying over, but they fuck it up real bad. And Tony Schiavone goes, "What was that?" on commentary. It's so obviously bad that he has to go like, "What is that? What was that?" And you know what they do? They do the spot over again. They do it again. They run the ropes. This time they do this actual spot. What happens is Booty Man, he runs and he does a crossbody, like a flying crossbody, and DDP's drops down. So Booty Man, he goes flying, and then he hits the mat, and then it allows the heel to start taking over the mat, to start getting the heat on, which DDP does. But there's no heat. Nobody gives a fuck about the Booty Man. So you're beating up this good guy that nobody cares about. So there's no reaction. So DDP, you know what he does? He does that same spot where he argues with the referee, and the referee has to shove him down to get some kind of reaction from the crowd. DDP forces a kiss on Kimberly. She slaps DDP, and then Booty Man hits his high knee finisher. Get it? High knee, like the butt, but it's a high knee to win this match. Afterwards, he kisses Kim. I gave this match a D. This is a terrible match. Still not the worst match I'll ever see on this pay-per-view, but it is a D. It is not good. What did you think?
Not a good match. DDP was not good enough to Brutus Beefcake is completely lost at this point, and DDP is not good enough to carry him. Also, like they were building towards something with Johnny Bad. He left. They probably should have just abandoned it. They wind up abandoning all of this anyway. Um, they shoved Bruce Beefcake in the. It's just not good. It went way too long. And that heel turn and the Zodiac and being Kevin Sullivan's bitch, you ruined the guy. You might have
Yeah,
had
that
something
ruined the guy. Mm-hmm.
if you brought him in as the Booty Man. If he came in as the Booty Man in '94, you could have had something. But you can't now make him one of your top guys after all that insanity that he did for a year and being treated like a fucking bitch for a year. It's over, and they realize it. But this match was a waste of time.
He should have came back with the little bow tie and the fucking Jeff Hardy armpit, and just
No,
not
because
call
then
him.
WWE just sued them, dude. He has to.
No, but don't call himself the barber. Call him something else.
If he looks, if he looks too much like it, they could sue.
What? I don't know if I don't think
They,
Booty Man would
they
have.
won the lawsuit about Scott Hall, and he was called Scott Hall because he talked and looked too much like Razor Ramon, and same with Kevin Nash. They
I don't think Booty Man
WWE WCW had to admit that it was too close to WWF. Those two guys.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know what's crazy about the Booty Man is that
he's the Booty Man.
this will actually be one of 3 WCW gimmicks that WWF will steal and give to Billy Gunn. You know that?
Well, he deserves
They've
them.
given Billy Gunn 3 stolen WCW gimmicks. You know that? It's crazy.
So what are the other two?
Well, Smoking Guns, they took it from the Southern Boys, right? Remember the Southern Boys?
Mm-hmm.
There's this Booty Man, is Azman, of course. And when he was the one Billy Gunn, he stole it from the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett. So, like,
No, I would more say Billy and Chuck. They stole that from Lenny and Lodi.
that's true too. Maybe they stole 4 gimmicks from WCW. They stole 4 and they gave it to Billy Gunn. Isn't that
He
crazy?
deserves them.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing about Billy Gunn.
He's the one.
You give him a gimmick and he'll fucking knock it out of the park.
No, he didn't really do that, but he went to the park.
Dude,
he was at the park.
Any gimmick you give him, daddy ass.
The one was a disaster.
The one I liked it. It was all right. You know, Billy and Chuck, they were good. You know,
I like the one song. The one song is good.
Yeah, I like the one song too. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, Mean Gene Okerlund, he is with Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger, and Jimmy Hart is sad. He's really sad, and he goes, "So this is the last time I'm gonna be walking with Lex Luger, and Lex, I want to give you this," and he gives him a jacket with Lex Luger's face airbrushed on it, and then he runs away crying. I don't get why Jimmy Hart is sad. I don't get that part. I don't get it, but it is what it is. Lex Luger says he's sad that Sting is not his partner tonight, but I wish him a lot of luck to doing this match without him because they're. I have no idea what the hell's going on. Why is Jimmy Hart crying and sad that he's like the last time he's walking with Lex Luger? Are they breaking up?
I don't know. Jimmy Hart's a waste of time. Putting him with Lex Luger is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Do you think because Bischoff? I used to think that Bischoff was lying when he said he didn't like Lex Luger. I almost feel like someone was trying to get Luger to quit again, and they were like, "We're gonna make you look like a fucking idiot over and over again." And Luger just sat with it and got over. And then they finally pushed him in the second half of this year. Dude,
well, you know what? He had no other choice. He can't go back to WBF.
I know it's just this is just a waste. I mean, there's a waste. There's a waste of this guy, bro. Putting Jimmy Hart with him, bro. That's like fucking, dude. That's like putting like Harvey Whippleman with Penta. Imagine we're gonna do that on one day.
Yeah, it would be kind of like putting Robert Stone from NXT with like Penta right now. I like Robert Stone, but like it's just like, why would you do that? You know?
No. Robert Stone.
Like when they put that. It's like when they put Alex Abrahantes with Penta in AEW. That's what this is like.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're gonna go to our 5th match. It is Loch Ness, who as he's walking down, he trips on his way out. He's gonna be facing the Giant, who comes out with Jimmy Hart, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
More Jimmy Hart.
Yeah. The funniest thing about this before this match begins is Bobby the Brain Heenan goes, "Look at the Giant, then look at Loch Ness, and look at the referee Pee Wee," and he goes, "There's not a good-looking guy in that ring right now." That was really funny. That's so fucked up.
It's true though.
Very funny. So Giant, they're wrestling, and there's a point where Giant has Loch Ness in the corner, and he runs at Loch Ness. Loch Ness moves out of the way, and the Giant, who's Big Show, he goes over the top rope onto the floor. It was a crazy bump for a big dude. People are in awe that he took that bump. And then Loch Ness, he hits his big elbow on the Giant outside. On a Giant, somebody rings the bell, even though there was no pinfall. But it was, that kind of like took people out of it.
Someone just wanted to save everybody from this fucking match.
Yeah. So Loch Ness tries to go for a second elbow drop, but Giant he kicks Loch Ness down, and then he misses the second elbow, and then Giant gets up and he kicks the Loch Ness down, and then he hits a leg drop on Loch Ness to win this match. As soon as this match is over, Giant looks at the camera and he goes, "Hulk, I'm coming for you, and on Monday, coming for you, Ric Flair. I want that belt." I gave this match a C. It's like a 2-minute match.
I think it's being generous. That's what I'll say. It was short.
Yeah. So if you guys are wondering who this Loch Ness guy is, it is Giant Haystacks from the British wrestling scene. Haystacks was really, really hot back then. This guy was wrestling in the United Kingdom in the 70s and 80s. And in fact, he was even Queen Elizabeth's one of her favorite wrestlers. Is how popular this guy was. But remember, keep in mind, that was 70s and 80s. We were already in 1996. By mid 90s, already 2 decades of wrestling, his body is shot. Before he actually signed over to WCW, he was actually not even wrestling because he had knee surgery. He was just like out. His body was done. And then so he was already on his last legs when he came to WCW. And while he was here in America for WCW, he was diagnosed with lymphoma. And when he found out, he said, "I need to get out of my contract because I'm done. I want to go back to the UK because I'm sick." So they said, okay. They let him. Remember, he wasn't even there for a full year. They let him out of his contract. This is actually his last match. He's gonna go back to the UK, and November 29th, 1998, he is actually gonna pass away of lymphoma. He'll be 52 years old. So the reason why it's not so good is because he's a sick man, and unfortunately, we're not. This is our only time seeing Loch Ness Haystacks, and it's not when he's at his prime, but it is what it is. But that's the excuse why this match is not
good. It's short, and you know what? I feel bad because I kind of think Loch Ness was pretty good on the mic, and my vision. Let me see what you think about this vision. Is he doesn't wrestle, and he's like almost like a fucking British mob boss, and he sends like the British and wrestlers or after like Mike, fucking take out the Giant, Mike, something like that.
Like Regal and Dave Taylor and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, work for him, and he's in a suit and he's like in a desk, and that's my vision for him, and I think that would have been good. But now it all makes sense. So goodbye, Loch Ness.
I'm currently reading Regal's biography, and in it, he really puts over Haystacks. He goes like, that guy was so good, and he was like, it made me say, he was like, he writes, he made him sad seeing him the way he was in WCW because like that guy was so good. Like that was one of the guys that Regal used to watch wrestle, but that was a long time ago, 70s and 80s. That was a long time ago, man. I mean, like at this point, it would have been like us watching Junkyard Dog, but we're not watching Junkyard Dog in his prime anymore. He's kind of like fat and he can't wrestle. His head's getting humongous. He's got no arm muscles. But anyways, we got to move on. And we're with Lee Marshall. He's with Sting and Booker T. And they both say they got a lot to prove against the Road Warriors. And Sting he starts doing this thing where he starts egging on Booker T, and he starts insulting Booker T, and he starts shoving Booker T. And Booker T's like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you shoving me?" And he's like, "I want you to get mad, Booker T. I want you to get angry." One thing I noticed about this promo, Sting isn't blonde here. He's got brown hair. So I guess
Yeah,
he's
he's
already
slowly changing his look. He's slowly changing his look.
yeah, he's slowly changing it. He's like, just don't want to dye his hair anymore. And I
Mhm.
like it. It's different. It makes him look darker, like meaner a version of Sting, like
Yeah. Which
the
is gonna
90s.
come. Which is gonna come.
Yeah, like the early 90s are over. I gotta
Mm.
become more modern. But we're gonna go to
Unfortunately, this is not a good match.
Yeah, we're gonna go to our sixth match. It is a Chicago street fight match. What that
Hmm.
means, it's basically a no DQ match. We got the Road Warriors versus Sting and Booker T instead of Sting's partner of Lex Luger, and instead of Booker T's partner of Stevie Ray. The Road Warriors, they attack Sting and Booker T during their entrance, and they go right to the ring. Animal crotches Sting on the post, but Sting returns the favor and crotches Animal on the post. They're gonna have this double screen because there's gonna be action everywhere, but occasionally the screen's gonna show the same action, the same stuff. So it's kind of like pointless. Remember, false counts are everywhere, anywhere. So Sting, he hits Animal with a chair by the cage, by the entrance, and then he brings it to the ring. But Animal gets the chair from Sting and uses it on Sting and Booker T. Sting power drives a Hawk, and Hawk gets up, no sells it, and starts beating up. And you know what I noticed? Um, that's Hawk's thing. Like Hawk's thing is like if you power drive him, he'll no sell it. Like that's like something
Mhm.
I guess Hawk does. You know what Sting's thing? Sting's thing is when he does a thing where he was knocked so hard he starts standing around and then he falls head first into your groin. Like I think because he does that here to Animal's balls, and I was like, yeah, that's Sting's thing. I've seen Sting do that a bunch of times. Booker T has his own thing as well. It's the spinner Rooney, and he tries to do it here, but because Animal is like in his way, it blocks Booker T from getting that full rotation. And he does like a half rotation, and he has to stop spinning because Animal like blocks it. I thought that was kind of funny. Booker T, he low blows Animal, I guess in revenge for stopping his spinner Rooney. Sting and Hawk, they try to do a shoulder block spot, but they fuck it up, and it looks really bad. Halfway point of this match, this is a very long match, and halfway into it, everyone's fucking tired. Everyone's just like hitting slow, getting up slow. Booker T, he misses an
I don't know
elbow.
who thought. I don't know who thought having this match go this long was a good idea.
I don't. Yeah, this is like a 30-minute match, and
And
it didn't
it
need to be a
ex-
30-minute match.
it exposed also like Sting and Booker T together. I don't care what the storyline was. That to me, it's like putting FTR bold and like fucking Darby Allin together, making them go 30 minutes against the Acclaimed. It's like this is not interesting. This is not good. And maybe if it was like Sting and Luger or the Steiners versus these guys, they don't have the Steiners yet. But like these fucking buffoons, this is just not good, man. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. And it really exposes the Road Warriors as two guys who just can't do it anymore.
This should have been a 15-minute match, really. It should
No,
have been half.
well, it should have been a 7-minute match. Should have been.
Yeah, maybe because at this point, 15-minute mark, everyone's tired. But Booker T, he does this thing where he misses an elbow drop, but then he does a spinner Rooney, and then he pops up and does a leg lariat to Hawk. Everyone likes it. Tony Schiavone at this point. Nobody remember. It's not called spinner Rooney. It's called a spin wheel kick. That's what it's called in WCW. Sting, he leaves Booker T alone so that he could get beat up by two guys, and he goes and he gets two brooms. He comes back with two brooms, and which is stupid. I don't know why he came back with two brooms because Animal takes one of the brooms from Sting the same way Animal took a chair from Sting, and he uses it on Booker T and Sting. Booker T's like, you know what, Sting, you're a fucking dumbass. Why did you bring these fucking broomsticks here so we get beat on it? And he goes, fuck this, and he leaves. He leaves Sting there and he goes to the back. Animal, like an idiot, instead of just double teaming Sting in the ring, he goes, I'm gonna go follow Booker T in the back. I don't want to win this match. I want to follow Booker T into the back. Animal and Booker T, they start fighting in the back, and they start fighting by Lex Luger, who's actually flexing in front of a mirror, and he's like, "Hey, come on, guys, watch it." And Animal hits Lex by accident, and that makes Lex fall into like some lotion and stuff on the floor. So Lex gets really mad, and he starts beating up and attacking Animal. Stevie Ray comes out of nowhere. He joins in, and they're all beating up Animal, and Lex Luger's yelling, "You ruined my scene! You ruined my sheen," which I thought was really funny. Because Lex Luger's gimmick at this point is that he's so full of himself, like he's super arrogant, and I thought that was really funny. So Sting, back to the ring. He is with.
I'm still here, bro. I'm still here.
Sting is back there with back in the ring with Hawk. He misses the splash and then he hits the guardrail, but then Booker T runs down and he rejoins and he sends Hawk into the steps. Then when the referee's distracted, which the referee doesn't need to be because this is a Chicago street fight, it doesn't matter. There's no DQ. But anyway, the referee's distracted while he is, Stevie Ray comes down, he hits Hawk with a chair for Booker T to cover Hawk for the win. Afterwards, they show Animal has been handcuffed to a post in the back. Stevie Ray comes back to the bag, hits Animal with the chair a whole bunch of times for a good measure. This was a C, an average match at best. Not good.
I don't think it was average. I think it stunk. I would actually say this is my worst match of the show, and I'll tell you why. It's
Really?
long and it's boring. You can say what you want about the Hogan cage match, but certainly you're seeing things that are like, what the fuck is happening? This is just boring, bro. And it does the Road Warriors no favors. Dude, I think you should not be signing the Road Warriors to have matches like this. This is like signing Goldberg to fucking have a 20-minute match where he gets the shit beat out of him by MJF. There's no point. Then don't sign him. Leave him at home. And I feel the same way about this. This was a waste of time. I fucking hated this match. It was garbage.
Okay, that's fair. And that this is the longest match. It's 29 minutes. But the Hogan match isn't that short either. It's like that's 25 minutes. So it's only like 4 minutes shorter.
At least it's like, what the fuck am I looking at? It's got that going for it.
All right. So let's get into it. The final, the main event. It's a doomsday cage match. So basically, it's got 3 cages. Okay, there's a cage. It's by the entranceway. It's not in the ring in the center of the arena. By the entranceway, there's another ring, and in that ring, it's surrounded by a cage. And on top of that cage is another cage, and on top of that cage is another cage. And there's this scaffolding that lets you go up to get into each individual cage. So Ric Flair comes out first with Woman and Liz, Miss Elizabeth, because now he's fucking both of them. And he comes out with Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson has no women because he's fucking nobody. So they come out, and Flair and Arn Anderson in regular street gear, they go to the very top cage. Then the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, Lex Luger, who comes out with Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart's there, so I don't know why the fuck Jimmy Hart's crying. They're going to go into the middle cage. And Mang and Barbarian, the Faces of Fear, they come out and they go into the middle cage too. Now, the interesting thing about the middle cage that's different than the top cage and the bottom cage is that the middle cage is separated into 2 separate cages with like a door in the middle. So Lex Luger and Kevin Sullivan is going to be in the middle right cage, and Mang and Barbarian are going to be in the middle left cage, okay? Then they announced Z-Gangster and the Ultimate Solution, who is not the Ultimate Warrior that I thought it was going to be the Ultimate Warrior. It's not. It's some other guy. But anyway, they're not even there. They announced them, but they're not there. They don't show up. Hulk Hogan and Savage, they come out, and they start climbing up the scaffolding. They go to the top, and they face off against Savage and Ric Flair. Hogan faces off against Arn Anderson and Savage and Ric Flair, and then they switch up and they start fighting. They're fighting in a cage on a cage. So basically, there's no mat. They're fighting. They're standing on like a chain link fence. There's not much you could do. They do a double figure 4 spot, but I mean, you're in a cage. It does nothing. Flair, he's passing down a weapon to the bottom cage below him, and I could tell they fucking missed it because, like, I think it just dropped all the way down. Hulk Hogan has powder, and he starts throwing powder on Ric Flair and Arn Anderson, and it blinds both of them. So this allows Hulk Hogan and Savage to open up the trap door that goes down to the middle left side cage. So they go down there and they start fighting Meng and Barbarian, but it doesn't matter which side they fight him because Lex Luger and Taxmaster, they just open the door and they just go in there. So Hogan and Randy Savage are fighting 4 guys at once. They're fighting Meng, Barbarian, Lex Luger, and Taskmaster, right? They somehow are able to get to the right side of the cage in the middle, and Hulk Hogan starts chaining the door. He has a chain, and he starts chaining up the door that separates the 2 middle cages. But he's having like a hard time doing it, and Meng and Barbarian have to pretend like they're struggling to open the door while Hulk Hogan is chaining up this door. Anyway, they do this to keep Meng and Barbarian on the one side of the cage while it leaves Kevin Sullivan and Lex Luger alone with the Mega Powers. Kevin Sullivan, he gets on the scaffolding and starts doing his thing. The only fun spot of this entire match where he starts dangling off the scaffolding about to fall off. I actually wanted him to fall. I know it sounds horrible.
I wish he would have.
I was like, that's the only thing that will keep this match interesting if he actually fell off. But no, he doesn't fall off. Instead, Hulk Hogan and the Taskmaster, they work their way down to the floor. Lex Luger joins them, and then Savage joins them down outside. So Savage, Lex Luger, Hulk Hogan, Taskmaster, they all go to the ring. They fight in the ring in the center of the arena. Then they decide to go back to the cage, and the rest of the guys who are in the cage, they start coming down and I'm like, oh, they're going to join the fight. They're coming. They all got out of the cage. They're joining the fight. That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna be wrong. Lex Luger and Hogan, they start going to the ring again, and Taskmaster and Savage, they go back to the ring again. Remember, this is the ring in the middle of the arena, the main ring. Finally, Z Gangsta, who used to be called Zeus, and the Ultimate Solution, they finally join them, and they take Hogan and Savage, and they take them to the ring that's in the cage by the entrance. Fans chant Hogan for this. I thought everybody was eliminated because that's what they said. Everybody's eliminated who was in the cage. But it doesn't matter because Arn Anderson and Ric Flair joined, even though they were eliminated. So this is stupid already because it's like, all right, if they were eliminated, but they're allowed to rejoin the match, then why doesn't Meng and Barbarian also rejoin? So then it'll be like 8 versus 2. But no, nobody thinks that far. Hogan and Savage are getting beaten on by Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, Lex Luger, Taskmaster, Z Gangster, and Ultimate Solution. So they're getting beat up by 6 men. All of a sudden, the Booty Man appears. And he gives each of them a frying pan. That's right, yes. A frying pan to each of them. Hogan starts throwing powder in somebody's eyes, and they both start using frying pans on everybody. It's like whack-a-mole. Bam, 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 bam. Lex Luger rejoins, but he gets beat. And he starts beating them down, and he puts on a heavy glove, like it's one of the loaded gloves. And Ric Flair is holding up Savage, and Lex Luger goes to punch Randy Savage. Savage ducks out of the way, and Lex Luger stops, sees this, but he goes anyway, and he nails fucking Ric Flair anyway. And so Ric Flair goes down. Hulk Hogan and Savage, they try to leave the cage when they realize, oh, we gotta fucking pin one of these guys. So Savage just jumps back. He pins Ric Flair to win the match. The comment and Hogan and Savage escape the cage. The commentators acknowledge, hey, Lex Luger, it looks like he hit Ric Flair on purpose. You're gonna have to answer for that on Monday Night Nitro. And Bobby the Brain Heenan, he goes on a rant about this is stupid. Starting on Monday on tomorrow night, we're gonna end Hulkamania. We're gonna work to end Hulkamania. I'm like, they've been working to end Hulkamania for like the past 6 months. Past year? What the fuck are you talking about? You're gonna start Monday.
You know what? What makes the NWO storyline so good is, and this is the best promo Kevin Sullivan ever cut. The night after Bash at the Beach, Kevin Sullivan goes, "We devoted 2 years to ending Hulkamania. and then Hulk Hogan ends it himself, and I don't know what to think. And I think that's kind of like the big keys, like all this corny shit's happening, then Hulkamania, and then Hulk Hogan just does it, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is easily one of the worst matches I've ever seen. I'm giving this match an F. Like this is terrible. It's
This
so long, and it makes a lot of people look bad. I gave this an F.
this match is terrible. I do you I don't know if you paid attention. You probably did. When Hogan and Savage walk out, they don't get a pop. There's really no pop. They just walk out,
True.
and
Yeah.
they try to get the crowd to cheer, and they're like, dude, these are the two biggest guys, the two biggest stars in the world, and they were getting no pops, man. And they're fighting nine guys. You know, Brian Pillman was supposed to be in this match, right? Remember he said, "Where's Brian Pillman?"
Yeah, that's true. They do mention
And
the commentators mention where is Brian Pillman?
guess who was supposed to take the pinfall in the original booking plan? Who Hogan wanted to pin?
Jeez, Brian Pillman. Wow.
Yes, to kill the guy's momentum. And to me, it's like first of all, there's no reason Brian Pillman in this match. Second of all, if he's in the match, he should not be the guy getting pinned when you have Z Gangsta, the Ultimate Solution, Ming, Barbarian. If you're gonna pin Kevin Sullivan should have been the one to get pinned, not Ric Flair. Kevin Sullivan should have fucking got pinned, and then Hogan should have like broke his neck, and we never saw him again. And that would have got Hogan over. It's just and then Brian Pillman did what he did. And you know what? I kind of think Brian Pillman did what he did because he was like, I'm not going to get a fair shake with Hogan ever, ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not
I
going to
think
get.
so too. Yeah.
I think the reason why Nash and Hall got over the way they did was Hogan was filming a movie, and they could go out there and do their thing, and their thing was so fucking good, Hogan could not deny it, and he had to join.
Yeah. Because he's like, if you can't beat him, join him, as the saying goes, right?
Yeah, it's a very interesting time because you're right. This shit is so corny, but I think that's what makes the NWO so special because this shit is so stupid. It's so corny. It's not working, and then the NWO comes in. It's so real. It's like a fucking R-rated movie invading a cartoon.
Yeah,
And
because this Hogan stuff is so phony. You know,
yeah,
it's so phony. It's so cartoony, and um, the Nash. Okay, yeah, we all know it's fake, but in 1996, there was a part of me as a kid that was like, I think this is real. You know,
yes,
and
yes.
that's what wrestling's supposed to be. You're supposed to make you go,
Mhm.
is this real or not?
Yeah.
And Hogan, I think knew I can't beat this, so I have to join it. I can't beat this, you know. And man, this match is terrible. It just makes so many people look bad. It's
It,
so
it's the
long.
it's the end of the Hulk Hogan run. There's no way to save Hulk Hogan unless you abandon Hulk Hogan. It's just the point of no return, I think, with the character, and you have to move away from it for a little bit. And thankfully, they did because I don't know where Hogan would be if he didn't. I don't know where WC. I mean, WCW still goes out of business, but yeah, man, it's not a good show. But you know what? The rest of '96 picks up for WCW. Well, the jury's out on WWF. You ready to
Yeah,
preview the next 4 weeks?
absolutely, man.
Next week, WrestleMania 12. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. 2 weeks in your house. Good friends, better enemies. Shawn Michaels versus Diesel. 3 weeks. Slamboree 96. Here's the other problem with WCW, by the way. Did you
Yeah,
see the commercial for Slamboree 96?
I did. Mm-hmm.
No wrestlers, all actors in it. Ridiculous. You should have had a commercial that showcases Sting or showcases the Giant or showcases Hogan. Instead, it's a bunch of actors in this dopey ring. It's dumb. These are some of the things about WCW, which is why ultimately it doesn't work. Little things like that. That's in 3 weeks, and then in 4 weeks, in your house, beware of dog, British Bulldog versus Shawn Michaels. What are you looking forward to, Andrew D. Bro?
Um, I guess Beware of Dog. I've always heard. I remember Beware of Dog as a kid, and I never got to see it. What about you, man?
Beware dog, good friends, better enemies, and that's about it. I again, and we're gonna get into it next week. You know, like this show, I waited till this morning to watch. I usually watch way ahead of time the shows, but I just was like dreading sitting through it, and I was right to do so. I feel the same way with WrestleMania 12. I'm dreading to sit through it, and I just think it's like not what anyone wanted. I don't care what the sickos say about that match. I don't think anyone wanted an hour-long match between Shawn and Brett. I'm not looking forward to it. And again, I think it's the worst WrestleMania. I really do. And we're going to talk about it next week. Guys, that's the podcast. It's WrestleMania season, both on the show and in real life. And we'll be there next week at WrestleMania. We will see you then. Congratulations, Andrew Lee, bro.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.